A lot of people use the word producer, but not everybody means the same thing. Welcome to Titan Sound Sessions. This is where we explore the process behind creation. And today we're talking about something that a lot of people think they understand, but they really don't. And that's the producer's role. So today I'm going to have that conversation with a very good friend, my guy J.O. the Boss Man.
Was
What's up,
good.
bro?
Was good, man. Appreciate you for having me in here, man.
Oh, you already know. You already know. So we've been in this industry for quite some time, right?
Absolutely.
What do you think defines a producer's role?
A producer's role is someone who sees the song or project all the way through, from beginning to end, from the beat to the bringing in other producers, from the how the vocals should sound, how the engineering should go, picking the right engineer, or just someone that's collectively putting the pieces together to make the song what it needs to be.
That's a very good overall description. So if somebody asks you, what does a producer actually do? How would you summarize that like elevator pitch? What would you think?
I would tell them pretty much a producer is the one who's pretty much in charge of the whole project, who
Mm,
works hand in hand with the artists, with the engineers, how something should sound, how something should go. Pretty much like the leader in the room.
right. Now there's a just so we make sure we give everyone clarity, there's different types of producers. In this sense, we're talking about the music producer. Because I know I can hear it in the back of my head now. Somebody's going to say, but yeah, an executive producer,
Right.
right? Executive producer, that's usually the one that's in charge of the overall budget that gives the final say so. And they're usually the ones that's financing the operation to some extent, but the music producer responsibility, that's pretty accurate. What does our role as producers begin with? When we think about where does it all start for us, where do we usually come in when it comes to the process of creation? Where are we located at?
I would say the vision of
Okay.
the song, like when you making a beat, or how you're feeling that day, your mood can determine how your music comes out. And I also feel like what type of artist you think will go on the beat,
Mhm.
and just the vision you have for it all the way through, as far as like picking the right songwriter, or picking the right artist that you hear on the track, and also how the track sounds, like what instruments to put in, because you don't want to put too much in there. You want to leave space for the songwriter, the right, the vocals, just little things like that. Is really critical, for a music producer.
I wanna go back to something you just said, and I think that's very important. Vision.
You're absolutely visions is the most important part.
There's a big, vast difference between an idea and vision, right? Anybody can come up with an idea, but are you a visionary? Can you see the idea from its infancy stage to its final form? And I think that's a trait that every producer or an aspiring producer you need to aim for. You need to gain as you take this path.
Right.
You have to be a visionary. You have to be able to see something that most people can't see, and that's what separates an idea person from a producer is the being a visionary,
Right.
having vision. So that was a good take. We went over the responsibility of the role, what the role entails, and I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes in
Yeah.
because people only see one piece or one part of the role and not the entire thing. What's your thought on that?
Well, I definitely feel like, for the people that don't know, that a producer is not just the beat maker.
Mm,
And I know, so the vision part is like seeing the song all the way through, from the idea, on top of multiple ideas you may have.
Before you go down, you just said something. Producer versus beat maker.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
this is for whatever reason, it is a point of contention in the creative community. Producer versus beat maker. Beat makers call themselves producers, and producers. It's a tug of war. What would you say the difference is between a producer and a beat maker?
I would say a beat maker is someone who just, programs like the drums or how the drums sound, and a beat maker is someone who puts, instruments together to make a beat. But I feel like a producer not only, makes a beat, but also gives the artist or gives the songwriter their vision, and also communicates with the songwriter and the artist on their vision and how they would like it to go, as far as like how should you write this verse, or certain sounds may trigger certain emotions and
Hmm.
certain moods, like from the way like the down in the piano sounds, if it's high or low, or the bass, or the strings, or the horns, like certain keys trigger certain emotions, and that's something that I feel like a producer can communicate through the beat making.
I think a beat maker does that, can do that as well too. So where do you think people blur the lines? Where's the lines blurred?
The line is blurred because they feel like you just make a beat and you email it to someone. Well, I'm a producer. I make beats.
Mm.
Let me just send this off to a bunch of artists and see who jumps on it. Whereas producer is more of, hey, I'm gonna pick out a specific artist. Like, hey, I think you sound good on this, or let me see what you can do with this, because you see the vision of what someone could sound like on this particular beat.
I'm gonna challenge that a little bit. I'm gonna give a little pushback. So let's have two examples. Same scenario. Whether you choose the artist or the artist chooses you. You make a beat, you send it off to the artist. It doesn't come back to you. Did you produce the record?
No,
Why would you say no?
I would say no, because the artist didn't choose the beat, or the artist might not have been feeling or not understanding what you're.
Oh, let me make sure there's no confusion. You create the beat, you send it to the artist, the song doesn't come back to you, but the artist puts the record out. That's the other missing piece. I didn't
Mm,
clarify that, so I apologize on that. So that's the full picture. You make the beat, you send it to the artist. It doesn't come back to you, but the artist does put the record out, fully done.
mm. You're a songwriter.
Yeah. Did you produce the record?
I would say no, but you wrote some of the. But technically, you are a songwriter.
Composer,
You're a
right?
composer, right?
Post pandemic, post COVID, a lot of your studio sessions, we've learned to work remotely, not
Collaboration.
being able to be in the same room, but yet still working and getting records done. You create the music, you send it to the artist sends it back, you finish it, polish it, it goes to the engineers for the final polish, the final glue, record's done. Did you produce the record?
Yes.
What is the difference? How would we articulate that to aspiring creators to understand this between beat maker and producer? Because I think that scenario is more common than we
Yeah.
think, where music is being sent out
Yeah, that
a
is.
lot
You're right.
because the world has gotten smaller due to the internet. Access is at an all-time high. The barrier to entry is the lowest it's ever been. Anybody can put out music at any point with through all these distribution platforms that we have access to.
I feel like if the producer is in the room with the artist, I feel like he's producing. But I feel like if I'm just emailing beats to people and they put it out, I'm just a composer. But if I send a beat out and they record to it and they send it back and I put my touches on it and then I send it to my engineer, I produced it, because I can arrange certain things also, and I can move certain instruments around the vocals. I can play with it. That's producing, because I have like a little vision. I have a vision of how I want the record to sound like and where it should go. And I
Okay.
and I may send it back like, hey, can you say this way? Can you say it that way? Like,
So let's give tools and tips on how you can create remotely. Because the last thing I want to do, I don't want to discourage anyone from being a producer or saying, "Well, I guess I'm not a producer." Although, no, even though you may not be in the room physically, we have the tools to have a remote presence and still do those things that'll impact and influence the record as aspiring producers and creators. You have so many teleconference applications such as Zoom. You can do remote sessions that would, matter of fact, a lot of remote sessions are happening
right
right now.
now.
Matter of fact, don't you have
Yeah,
records done?
yes. One of my best records, No Pressure, was made from a virtual session through Discord.
Right. So that right there is there's multiple ways to get the job done and have impact on a song without uh losing your grip, right?
Hmm.
Now on the other side of that, as producers, we have to remember that the song is not about us. That's just that was a random thought, but that just came to me. Like we have to make sure that we always keep front of mind that it's about the song. What's best for the song, not what's best for me or for you or whoever. The best version of the record is always realized that way.
Right. And through that, you also learn like how different artists work
Hmm.
and how, and what levels certain people are on as well. Because some artists are can be, egotistical, where they don't want to hear your vision. They gonna rap about or sing about what they want to do, and that's it. And I've dealt with artists like that as well. And I've worked with plenty of artists where they want my input. Hey, how does this sound? Can I do this a certain way? Like, what do you think? And that's what I love about certain artists that I work with, where they invite my input, and then when I give them my input, it just makes the whole song sound better.
True. Last question, just so we can close out the producer versus beat maker debate, hopefully for the rest of the year until 2027. Can someone be both?
Absolutely.
I'm both.
Yeah, I'm both.
I'm
Yeah,
both the beat
absolutely.
maker and the producer. So you can be both. It's really just about understanding the difference between the two.
Correct.
And then once you understand the difference, you'll see that the role is more about shaping the record and not just creating the starting point. And I think that wow, that's a
Yeah.
good way to
Yeah,
describe
it's
it.
a great way to
A
describe it.
beat maker
Yes.
creates a starting point. A producer shapes the record. We just defined
Right.
producer versus beat maker in a very nice way. So we're gonna put a bow on that, and hopefully it's well received.
Right.
When it comes to what a producer really does, I think it comes down to decision making and leadership. We talk about taste. You mentioned it before: chords, progressions, the right sounds, uh, the direction. Are we sticking to one genre? Are we blending genres? Are we genre bending? These type of things that we have to carefully navigate, because one misstep we could lose the room,
Right.
and lose the room kills the momentum and energy. Once that's done, the session is over.
Yeah.
It's either go home and we try again
Try again
tomorrow,
tomorrow.
or you might have lost the job.
Right. You might not get called back.
Knowing what belongs, guiding the room. What are some of your thoughts on that?
Oh, well, definitely reading the room, and being of service to whatever is needed in the room, um, and whose session it is,
Hmm.
because whoever books the session owns the master. So, but if you're in so there's different ways we can go about it. But as far as being in the room, I would just be of service and just find out what's needed. And some sessions you may sit back and do it and do completely nothing and just listen.
Yeah, let's stay here for a moment, talking about decision making and leadership, because these are the things that get you hired, your taste, your style, because people are going to listen to, okay, what has this producer done before that warrants me wanting to hire him or hire her. This is it's a living, breathing resume, our prior
Right.
work.
Yeah.
Okay. When we think of taste and we look at the producer landscape that exists now, what producers come to mind? If you say the word taste, what producers immediately just appear before your mind?
Taste, I would say you.
Oh wow,
I would say you. Like
that's humble, bro.
when
Thank
I
you.
think R&B, I think of Double A.
Wow,
When I think of boom bap, I think of Spice Productions. When I think of uh, trap beats, I think of Fuse, 808 Mafia.
nice.
There's different things like that because people's some producers are known for certain genres,
Hmm.
even though you know they can do other genres, but it's just that one specific genre that you know that's their bread and butter, and you can go to them for that sound because you want that sound.
Okay. When I think taste, when I'm going to sonics and musical choice and drums and rhythm section, Teddy Riley, man,
Oh yeah,
it's not even close.
not
For
even
me. It's not even close. Just the way he blended genres. Like when you think about it, he was the first to really merge hip hop and R&B together,
yeah.
and sprinkle a little gospel in it too with the
With the
progressions.
regressions, yeah.
I really like the Neptunes,
Mm.
like what they've done sonically.
Their sound, yeah.
Timberland was another one for me. Uh,
Or Just Blaze
Blaze,
with that live instrumentation
Yay, Bink,
and
like that.
sampling is crazy.
That trio right there was nuts. Still is. RZA,
Yeah, that gritty
sample choices, that SB
sample.
1200 vibe he had going. S-
You know, Jake One,
Jake one.
like he's a bad dude, man. Like,
It's like when we start thinking about it, we start picking out little nuances and we understand why these creators were in such high demand because they had a sound. Jermaine Dupri.
yeah, I was just thinking about him.
Jermaine
Pretty,
Dupri
yeah,
is another one who don't get talked about enough for what he does.
yeah.
We can be here all day talking
All day, we can
about
be here
we
all
can be
day.
here all day.
Yeah,
Um, but that's a beautiful thing. When we think about guiding a room, makes me think about Kanye because you look at his liners, album liners, might be 21 people listed as composers on a record,
right.
but the sound he gets is still unmistakably him. For me, that is one of the most beautiful things about being a producer, being able to pull the best out of everyone to get everybody on the same page to achieve one goal, and that's making great music.
Right.
And then to see it manifested in real life where here's the outcome and it's moving people.
Yeah,
It's there's no price on that.
yeah. Dr. Dre, another one.
Another one.
Like, just think about all the producers he's pulled in under his wing to work on like his Compton album or even 2001. Like, it's for just the way, but it sounds like him.
Right.
But he's had multiple people like work on his projects, and but when you come down to the nitty gritty, it sounds just like him.
Right. That goes back to leadership, which is even more important because once more people start coming in the room, those records just begin to evolve. And if you don't have your hand on the steering wheel, like we said before, it can go off the rails very, very fast. Let's look at the things that people don't see. It's a subject that comes up a lot, mainly because people are starting to understand that a producer's role is not just the music itself or just the final outcome. There's so much happening behind the scenes from start to finish. Revisions. So
Oh
let's
yeah.
talk.
Oh
Let's
man.
talk about that. How many how many song A final, song A final final, song A final final final. Okay, song A. Okay, this is the real final in all capital letters. How many of those have you had saved on your desktop before?
Plenty. I had plenty. Shout out to my engineer, Spice Productions, man, because
Spice,
we've
my
had
guy.
so many revisions of different records. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rewrites, new hook, new verse, all
Like
those.
even though my record No Pressure with Jill Valentine, like we revised that record multiple times, completely changed lyrics, completely changed the hook,
Change sounds,
changed
change
sound,
the
like
beat.
the mix,
Done that.
changed the mixing. That song was mixed at least 20 times.
How important is communication?
It's very important. Very important. Like you have to communicate with your team or whoever you're currently working with at the time. Because without communication, nothing gets done.
And that's a very easy thing to say, without communication, nothing gets done. But let's go even deeper than that. So everyone knows, especially the aspiring creators, just how vital basic communication is
Mm.
from everybody that's involved, because you're dealing with creativity, and your creative spark can take you anywhere. If you're not communicating in those moments, we can leave the mission, we could leave the objective, and we find ourselves over here making a country song when we were supposed to be making an EDM song. And it's okay. Sometimes that happens, but as long as everybody's on the same
Same
page with
page.
you while you're veering off to an unbeaten path, it can work. But if we're not talking, and I start drifting and doing my own thing, and now you're doing your own thing, everything's disjointed. Now we're in a worse spot, because not only did we stop, but we started going backwards,
Backwards. Yep.
and now we're off course. How much energy does it take to get a session back on track after we've lost momentum?
It can be difficult because you don't want to, lose the time that you have. Um, I would you definitely there's different ways to go about it. Like uh, just play, start playing beats or start trying to make something else or just getting back on track to what you were working on
Mm,
is very vital too. Yeah, but the leadership from the producer is very important as far as like keeping the room, you know, flowing through the session for sure.
I feel you on that. I'm gonna turn a slight corner. Something that kind of goes unsaid but understood by people in the room: protecting the record. What does that mean to you? What do you think about when you hear the term protecting the record?
Protecting the record, I definitely feel like when I hear that, I hear like make sure it's saved. Your work is saved
Mm,
because powers go out, computers get messed up.
back
So
up,
backup, cloud, Google Drive, external hard drive,
all the above.
all the above, labeling, stems, files. Like that's a producer's job.
Let's take it to another level of protecting the record. Everybody can't get a copy of this the MP3 after the bounce.
Yeah, that's a good one. Cause that's a it depends on who's in the room. Is because if they weren't involved from the beginning or they didn't really have much input, I definitely feel like they shouldn't get a copy because it's not the final copy anyway.
How about nobody gets a copy?
That's fair too.
Nothing leaves the studio.
But my thing is, if you're at a random studio, like who's responsible for? Okay, are you going to leave the record at the studio, or do you trust
Who
that
who's
engineer?
the producer?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Somebody has to take that record
That's
home.
what I mean.
Like it's the producer. The producer has to take the record home. Period.
Whoever's running it is the one that's in charge of protecting it. Because let's say, okay, we all worked on it, everybody gets a copy, and now it's leaked. There's somebody that says, you know what, I'm gonna put this out. I don't feel like waiting to get this out no more. I don't feel like waiting for them to put it out. I'm gonna put it out myself.
Yeah,
I've seen
I've seen that,
that happen a lot.
and I've been involved with something like that myself.
Talk about it.
Well, you work with certain artists. And you're as a producer, sometimes you get frustrated when artists, sit on records for years,
Mhm.
and it gets frustrating because you know what the potential could be. And with certain, I had, with certain relationships, that's why relationships in this game is so important, because if a certain artist might have a better relationship than others, where if I have a great relationship with someone and I know, uh, first I would have a conversation. I'm like, hey, bro, what you doing with this record? Like, what's your thoughts on it? And the artist may be like, it's cool. Like, you can do it. You can have it. You can do what you want with it. Okay, bet.
Hmm.
I'm gonna take that record and I'm gonna put it out. And then when I put it out, like, it's everything is cool. Like, but the problem with that is you may not get the artist to do any content. You may not get a music video. It's just it's just thrown out there, but no like marketing plan or anything. But that's like a whole nother like
Actually, that's going to
conversation.
be a whole nother
This whole
discussion.
Yeah,
Song, single, album rollouts.
correct. So that's another issue too, because you don't want to just throw any record out there because you're frustrated that the artist didn't put it out.
Yeah,
So
you're not releasing music with in the right space, right energy.
exactly, it's coming from a selfish place.
Yeah. These are the invisible things and the invisible parts of the job that really separate a producer from someone who makes beats, because of the process that's involved. Now that we have more clarity on what the role of a producer is, what a producer actually does. Let's talk about some hard truths and lessons.
Okay,
What do we think new producers misunderstand?
they misunderstand that just making the beat doesn't make you a producer, or just there's way more involved than just you know pitting beats together or just sending beats out. Like, there's a whole nother responsibility that comes with that I think new producers should know.
Time, the amount of time it takes to develop that skill, to develop the traits and the attributes of being a producer. There's so many other things.
It's an investment into yourself, and it could take years.
You have to learn the business side of music. You have to have amazing communication skills. You have to be able to negotiate, reason, convince, lead, inspire, identify the it moments. You have to be a visionary, and that's not something that you're necessarily born with. That's something that you have to develop over time, because not everybody's the same. Not every situation is a cookie cutter situation.
Or
Almost every situation is unique, because the people are different, or it could be the same person, but they're in a different mood, a different headspace than
yeah,
they are from the last time you worked with them.
right. 'Cause they could be, that life changes every day.
Right. And it can be a totally brand new person that you got to get to know all
All
over
over
again.
again. Yeah.
That got different trigger points, different value system.
Right.
That type of handling and dealing takes time, experience, wisdom. It's more than just music. I guess the big word that we're looking for here is experience.
Yes.
In order to be a producer, it's going to take experience. You're not going to come in here day one. I'm a producer. I did that, and I learned quick. And I learned fast. I don't know everything I need to know to be able to do this job effectively. I remember in the beginning, my ego was in the way, for sure. I'm a producer. It's what I said. What I say goes, and I didn't know everything I needed to know
Hmm.
to have that type of mindset. And as I continue to develop, quite the opposite happens. Your ego goes away, and you are more humble than anything, because you really understand that this is not about you.
Yeah.
It is about the song. If what's best for the song is for me to let somebody else do the drums, me let somebody else play the bass,
Yes.
me let somebody else play the keys, whatever's best for the song is what we're going to do.
Right.
That is true producing. Like, hey, you have an amazing voice and your pen is great. But I think if we bring so and so in to help with the writing,
Mm,
it's going to take this song to where it needs to be.
indeed.
Because this writer here brings a different color that we don't have. What we have is good, but it can be great if we
Right.
do this.
And a lot of egos get hurt with that too.
But then it goes back to what we just said about wisdom, knowing how to negotiate,
Okay.
how to reason with somebody,
Uh-huh.
how to inspire somebody, positioning. How do you position something where it's receptive?
Right. And knowing how to talk to people.
Communication.
Communication.
Some people are abrasive. Some people are hard to deal with. They might be the most talented people in the world, but if they're hard to deal with, they're not going to want to work with you.
No one wants to work with an asshole.
Say that again, bro.
And that's quote Jay Hatch.
That's a fact. Speaking of our brother Jay Hatch, man, he was we're taking the time out from the session just to acknowledge our brother that's no longer here. Jay Hatch was the Clarence Avant of the creative community. What I mean by that, Jay Hatch is responsible for a lot of your favorite creators' careers. He put a lot of people in play uh, through his relationships, just through his tenacity. Him, Sis, and Don, I Standard, what that meant to the creative community is there's not too many people moving in our community
And
that has not been impacted by I Standard and what Jay Hatch, Don, and Sis and the team did. I can't name too many people. But matter of fact, a lot of the relationships I have now came from being in
yep.
that small circle. And Jay Hatch, man, he took us everywhere. He really did. He really
Yeah,
did.
he really did. Check your ego at the door.
Another famous Hatchism. Check your ego at the door. Everybody's
Everybody's
a
a star.
star. They come on stage, treat them as such.
Absolutely.
Wow. One time for our guy Jay Hatch, man.
One time we need an unsung. I think we talked about that before.
Yeah, yes. If anybody needs an unsung, it is Jason.
Shit.
Jason Hatchian, aka Jay Hatch, aka Mogul Status. The dude that was a visionary.
Yeah, he was.
He
He had a big
was
vision.
a visionary. The way he gathered songwriters, engineers, producers, artists in one room and galvanized us all to a goal. Learned a lot from him in a very short time. I've been friends with him since we met 2017. No, the end of 2016. Quickly became cool and then became brothers, man.
Yeah. Um, I met Jay Hatch, and I think it was around 2016 as well. I had met Sis first back in like 2015, I believe, or
Mm,
2014, and I really built my bond with Hatch probably around near probably like the end of I Standard and the beginning of Creative Space. I was like one of the first people there at their first Creative Space event.
nice.
Um, um, and we just built a bond from there, and I learned a lot from him, and I learned a lot from Sis as well, and I learned how to communicate and to become a leader and to develop focus and develop determination and develop organization far as like keeping files together and learning what my responsibilities are as a producer. I learned from him as well, far as like collecting files and backing up stuff and labeling it and sending records back.
Right.
Cause that's a big thing. That was one of his pet peeves is
Send it back.
send it back.
Send
And
it
there's
back.
records to this day still out there that never got sent back.
Wow. Yeah, and one time for our guy Sis for picking up the torch and continuing the legacy, for sure. Oh man, that was heavy. Speaking of being heavy, what does this role demand, not only mentally but emotionally?
It can demand a lot, um, especially with everyone dealing with different people, dealing with different personalities, and trying to make the best record as possible. Sometimes it can get draining.
Mm,
I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes it can get a little rough depending on the circumstance of the record. I've been in multiple different situations with dealing with working with artists and songwriters. Um, but I definitely can say leadership is probably the most important thing, and just humility
mm.
and just being understanding and being being a leader.
I feel you. I got a good one. When did you realize that producing was more than just making beats?
Wow, a good question. Uh, I realized it was more once I started going to song camps.
Song camps.
That's when I really learned how much a producer's involved and how much responsibility they have. Definitely song camps for sure.
Yeah, the song camps, the beat camps, SAE, the trips, uh, Beast of the Beats. Oh,
Oh man,
those were amazing. The end year, the big end year competition slash level up.
yeah,
So just I don't want to speak in code where nobody knows what we're talking about. Again, we're going back to our iStandard days. iStandard would have producer showcases city to city throughout the entire year. There will be industry judges judging each showcase, and there will be three winners, top three. If you won at any particular city, you were then eligible to participate in Beast of the Beast at the end of the year. Uh, they could be in Cali, it could be in Atlanta, it could be in Miami. That Beast of the Beats competition is usually like a 3-4 day event. Not only do you have the competition, but there's camps there. There's industry led panels there.
yeah,
You're speaking to the best lawyers, the best managers, engineers. You're getting an opportunity to really level up your sound. There's giveaways, brand sponsors. You're meeting the right people, and we're usually in a major city where industry players are at, and you're exposed to other creatives from around the world because it wasn't just
yeah.
U.S.
No, it
My
wasn't.
very first Beast of the Beats, Black Bell Beats won, and he was from Paris. So it was a world event, and people came out, and your ear gets opened to different things. You hear different genres. You taste making.
Taste making, that tastes
Yeah, a lot of things. You see different colors that you never saw, heard before.
right.
But it's opportunity for growth, man.
Growth.
That's it's like that was such an amazing thing. Though when you said song cancer, it just triggered that
Yeah,
for me. Those type of events, man.
yeah. I miss those
What a
specific.
time.
Yeah, man. I think the best camp. My first camp in LA was probably my turning point
Nice.
because at the time I was afraid.
Hmm.
I literally tried to cancel my flight. I literally called to see if I could get my money back, and they told me I couldn't get my money back. They would give me credit.
It's
So
like I might as well go now.
I'm like, all right. So my wife, which is my girlfriend at the time, she was like, just go, like just go out there and just see what happens. So so I went out there. I met some amazing people, man, from San Diego. My guy Hookmonger, my guy Chauncey R. Um, and just from that session and all the different artists that were songwriters that were there and producers, like it literally like opened my eyes to the opportunity that I had, like to really build myself as a producer and to learn from all the people that were there and just to you know big up just the education alone from learning different things from that camp really like put me at another level after that camp, my first LA camp. And I can credit that one. And also before that, Philly Collab Lab. The first time I
Collab
even
Lab.
the first time I
Wow.
even met J Hatch at Collab Lab Philly, and I remember making a beat. Matter of fact, it was a beat. It was myself, Black Cactus, uh, produced by
Shout out to
Drew.
Black Cactus over there
Yeah,
at Cali living right
yeah, she
now.
killing it right now with the sync stuff. But I think my guy Drew, produced by Drew, shout out to him. And we were working on a beat, and I remember like I started a beat. I brung Black Cactus in to do the keys. I brung in Drew do another set of keys, and I actually brought you in to do a little bit of engineering on it.
I think I remember this now. I was like, this sounds
Yeah,
very familiar.
yeah. And that's when I really learned like this is really producing. Like I'm putting my ego aside.
Mhm.
I know that Drew has this gift of playing different instruments. I'm gonna bring him in here to play this. I need this, and Black Cactus brung her taste, and I'm like double A. He knows a little something about engineering as well. Let me bring him in here, and you did your thing, and we made a banger.
So that's a perfect example of how to separate the producers and identify, okay, who's the producer, who's the beat maker slash composer. Because everybody you named, all four of us were all producers,
Right.
but you're the lead. So on this song, you're the producer, and Drew, Black Cactus, and myself, we're just composers slash beat writers, beat makers. We're composers on this song. Even though we are all producers, in this situation, this very scenario, the three of us are not. You're the producer, we're composers.
Right.
So perfect illustration on, yeah, you can be both a beat maker and a producer, but it's according to the situation
Patient.
that you're in. In
Exactly.
this situation, you're the producer. We're the songwriter slash composers,
Composers.
aka beat
Beat
makers.
makers,
In that, so that was perfect. I didn't
Yeah.
even know you had that in the pocket for
Yeah,
me.
I it just reminded just bring talking song cans is I have a lot of memories, man. Like and great times. I miss those days, man. Like it was so much fun. And that's what I'm saying. Those times I learned what a producer really was.
Hmm.
And I learned how to communicate and just to communicate with you what I needed. And to communicate with Drew and Black Cactus on what I needed to make this sound a certain way my vision
Vision,
that I had.
communication, direction.
Right,
Yeah.
and my leadership to bring you guys into that song to make the beat the way I needed it to sound,
Hmm.
and that's like the perfect example of everything we were just talking about.
That was perfect, man. And I think we can close it out with a final thought. What's something that aspiring producers should understand about the role?
They should understand that they're the leader of the situation. They are responsible for from beginning to end of the song or the project, and that it's their responsibility to make sure it goes all the way through smoothly from start to finish.
Leadership and responsibility goes hand in hand in this role.
Absolutely.
So, any final words, my friend?
uh I just want to shout out a few people out, man. If I just want to shout out my guy Spice Productions, Amon Jackson, Sis, uh Fuse, and all the people all the artists that I've worked with over the years. And you, my brother, for bringing me here. For those who don't know, Double A and I met at a beat battle
Yeah.
in Philly, and he had the pleasure of beating me with all R&B beats. He came in first, I came in second, and we've been boys ever since.
That's a fact.
So I'm very grateful to be here, my brother.
Thank you, my friend. You always know this is a open door here for you at Titan Sound, man. Anytime you want to pull up, all you gotta do is hit me up. You got a all access pass. So with that, if you know a creator that needs to hear this, send them this episode. And if you want to hear more conversations like this about the process behind creation, subscribe to Titan Sound Sessions. I'm your host, Double A. My guy J.O. the Boss Man. See you soon.
Peace.